What happens when a far-left mayor convinces himself he can fix a major city with soft on crime policies, endless second chances, zero accountability, and even more government dependency? You get a city in absolute chaos. And so here we are talking about Chicago again. Chicago's facing far more problems than Brandon Johnson can handle. Yet he keeps pretending these are isolated incidents, as if the city isn't showing every symptom of a place spiraling out of control. The latest example, nearly 300 teens rioting, ending in a mass shooting during the annual Christmas lighting ceremony, turning what should have been a peaceful holiday event into another night of violence and disorder. Just one of the many signs the city is deteriorating fast. As always, best way you can show your support for the channel is by smashing that thumbs up. That tells me you like the video. Subscribe for more breakdowns like this.
Post on X from Alderman Brian Hopkins, who's of course one of the downtown aldermen, and he, this is the alderman speaking here, so that's who we're attributing this to. He has posted a tweet or on X, 300 juveniles, he says, noting rioting in the Loop now. At least 5 victims have been shot, 1 critical with life-threatening gunshot wound to the torso. Multiple police officers attacked and injured with mace and stun guns. At least 1 police officer has been hospitalized. That's according to downtown Alderman Brian Hopkins, who has been very vocal, Rob and Cheryl Entree, about the need to have new rules of engagement for the Chicago police in terms of how they can deal with youth and how they can deal with large gatherings of youth that happen, as Cheryl, as you say, when the weather gets nice. And it became quite a political story not just a few months ago. Brian Hopkins, one of the big advocates for allowing the police to have much more flexible rules, ability to declare a riot, declare an unpeaceful situation, and to clear people out. So these numbers that he's talking about are a lot bigger than we had heard earlier before. He's saying 5 people injured, shot, I should say, at least 1 with life-threatening wounds.
And there was always that conversation about the curfew between the mayor and the superintendent and the alderman, and that discussion was a constant discussion, and I'm sure this will become a very much needed topic once again. If he says he saw or he's getting information that 300 young people, and at 9:45 tonight, and I went to Rob's office, I went out into the newsroom and I said, you guys, something is happening downtown, not sure if it's a teen takeover, and everybody started researching on their phone to see if they had any information, if there was some kind of meetup, because it started to get violent, and then 5 minutes later, that's when the gunshots were fired.
And we saw the...
So let's break this down. You have people who were just coming out to enjoy their night, a night out on the town for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. And this is the behavior they were subject to. Behavior from teens who don't care about who they harm, who they harass, who they attack. They just outside. They just outside causing chaos and violence. And this is where the obvious question comes up. Where and who are these kids' parents? Because at some point, if we're going to keep on treating these kids with kid gloves, so to speak, no pun intended, and saying, well, they're minors, it's only but so much you can do, then it's time to start looking at the parents. Because the parents are going to allow their kids to run around like criminals, attacking people, and hide behind that excuse, then the parents need to be held more accountable in these kind of situations. But here's some more. Take a listen.
I'm going to start right now with breaking news. We've been following this all night. 2 shootings just hours after the Christmas tree lighting, steps away as well from the Christkindl Market right here downtown. One of those mass shootings leaving 7 teenagers in the hospital. Just blocks away from that, a man died. Let's get right to our Saul Rezai at State and Randolph for the very latest on the investigations.
Yeah, Suzanne, one of those shootings happened just steps away from the Chicago Theater here. The scene has been cleared here this morning, but we know new details from Chicago police this morning tell us 7 people were shot here near the Chicago Theater. A separate scene near Adams and Dearborn had 2 other people that were shot. The person at that scene, we learned, has died. Witnesses tell us the victims seemed all to be very young. young, in their teenage years. Police confirming this morning the youngest victim is only 13 years old. Suzanne, you mentioned these shootings happened just steps away from multiple big holiday attractions happening here in the Loop. We'll get to that video. Chicago police saying they saw a large group of people on the sidewalk. You'll see this scene video as aftermath. Dozens of Chicago police officers and first responders on the scenes here downtown. The victims between 13 and 17 years old. In total, 7 people shot here at State and Randolph, all said to be in good condition, thankfully. 1 person in fair condition. 2 more people shot, as I mentioned, at Adams and Dearborn at a different scene. The injuries of those victims are more serious. Police confirming this morning they found 2 other people shot at Adams and Dearborn. 1 man had gunshot wounds throughout his body and was pronounced dead at the hospital. The second victim, an 18-year-old man, was shot in the leg and is in serious condition at last check. Many people we talked to were here visiting from out of town, and they said they were sad to see this happen, especially during the holidays.
It's very disheartening to see this. You know, right, holiday time, everybody wants to celebrate and enjoy the evening, and something like this happens.
Now, seriously, explain to me why anyone would choose to visit Chicago right now. I mean, really, let's be honest. Who wants to visit a city where simply walking down the street for what you think is going to be a nice night out on the town to go to the theater ends in chaos where you may be running for your life? This wasn't some protest. This wasn't some march, some political event. This was a Christmas tree lighting. It doesn't get more family friendly than that, or at least that's what it's supposed to be. A peaceful, family friendly event interrupted by wild teens, and I use the term teen lightly. They're really just criminals who are opening fire like it's nothing. You shouldn't have to worry about catching a bullet at a Christmas celebration. You shouldn't have to worry about mob attacks happening just for visiting what used to be one of the most iconic cities in America. But that's the reality under progressive leadership, soft on crime policies, endless second chances, and a mayor who never gets tired of throwing a race card out every time he gets a chance to, instead of actually facing the reality of what's going on in his city. Brandon Johnson, he'll keep on insisting that the crime is being exaggerated. Chicago, everything is under control.
Last night, just hours after, more than 20,000 people came downtown to enjoy our annual tree lighting ceremony. There were 2 serious shooting incidents. At around 10 p.m., 7 victims were shot at 164 North State Street. And moments later, there was another shooting at 140 South Dearborn, where there were 2 additional victims. One of those victims, a 14-year-old, sustained multiple gunshot wounds and died. There were 5 guns that were recovered. No parent certainly wants to get that terrible, life-altering call. It is senseless violence like these shootings that makes us all feel unsafe. And it has left too many families in Chicago reeling.
And if the residents of Chicago don't realize they need to switch up their mindsets with the leadership they elect, then they're going to be their own demise. When you have leadership in place who will literally let a man go free 70 plus times after being arrested, and then the result is he lights a woman on fire in order for you to figure out now he needs to be behind bars, yeah, you got a problem.
Prosecutors say he lit a woman on fire aboard a train. Meanwhile, there are growing questions about why he was back out on the streets despite a rap sheet reportedly going back to the early 90s. Mike Tobin is live in the Windy City with more. Hi, Mike.
And Dana, Lawrence Reed will be once again before the judge today, this time to determine if he will be held behind bars before he goes to trial. And that really is the backbone of this case. On Monday, he was out walking the streets despite a pending case for allegedly knocking a woman out, able to ride the L train where a woman was set on fire. Now, we have a statement from her family through Cook County Health. It's a pretty simple statement. They say, we'd like to thank everyone for their prayers and well wishes as our daughter receives care for her injuries sustained earlier this week. We're also grateful for the excellent care and support of the burn team at Stroger Hospital. It goes on to the family to say the family will not be providing any more updates. Now, the criminal complaint against Reed says he went to a gas station, filled a plastic bottle with gasoline. The images get brutal here, so brace yourself. 20 minutes later, he was on the Blue Line train, dumped the gasoline on the woman's head. She ran, but he chased her down with the flaming remnants of the bottle and set her on fire. Mayor Brandon Johnson's message is that violence on public transit is not widespread.
Look, my responsibility is to build the safest, most affordable big city in America. The investments that we are making are certainly moving us in that direction. This is an isolated incident. I mean, I don't see this as some sort of trend.
We've tracked down more than 4 dozen of arrests of Lawrence Reed since 1993. 9 of them were for felonies, yet he has served just over 2 years behind bars. Most recently, he was charged with aggravated assault for knocking out a social worker. The state's attorney requested pretrial detention, but Judge Teresa Molina-Gonzalez denied him the request and put him on electronic monitoring. The website CWB Chicago reports that at that detention hearing, Judge Molina-Gonzalez said, I can't put everyone behind bars or keep everyone in jail just because the state's attorney has asked me to. So we'll find out later today if a federal judge will indeed keep him behind bars. Dana, back to you.
Mike Tobin, let's.
And so, yeah, then you had that situation. And then you have this other story, which I wanted to get into. I feel like we can tie all of these situations together because, well, I mean, they're all taking place in Chicago, but beyond that, they're kind of showing you the different stages of what this chaos looks like. And so we seen just a moment ago what that chaos looks like in its adult form. Then the video previous to that, you seen what it can look like in its teen form. But ultimately, like with a lot of these situations, it starts from childhood. It starts from what are the parents doing from when they are children. And as we going to see with this story right here, which is an absolutely insane story, it's the parents who aren't instilling any type of values, any type of morals, any type of discipline into their kids to the point where now you got kids who are out here who will literally attack adults just to get to the kids.
Now to a CBS exclusive. The mother in this video, who was attacked while protecting her children, is speaking publicly. She and her son were brutally attacked by a group of kids on Monday, and this video has caught the attention of many across the country. Now, that community is stepping in to help move her out of the South Deering neighborhood. She only spoke to our Sharday Gray about this horrific attack, and Sharday is live in our newsroom with more from this exclusive story.
Well, Marie, Korshonda Hatter says she's still in physical pain after she and her son were brutally attacked with her young daughter just steps away. Her legs are bruised and it's hard for her to walk. But what hurts her the most is her children are still suffering.
My son is, he's very devastated. He'll wake up out of the middle of his sleep screaming. He'll scream, "Mommy, are you there?"
Hatter says her 9-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter are traumatized after watching their mom get attacked by a group of kids. In this video, we've blurred the faces of those involved because they're all minors. We've stopped it after she was dragged to the ground because of how brutal it is. Her son was beaten, and she says one of the kids pulled her daughter's hair. Her daughter stood off to the side crying, watching her brother and mother get attacked.
I felt helpless because I was down on the ground and he was down on the ground and he's looking at me screaming like, "Mommy, please help me, help me." I couldn't get up myself. I couldn't do nothing.
She's sick. She has sickle cell. So I guess they seen a little weakness on her because she's, kind of walking a little slow. And they have no right to put their hands on an adult.
That's her partner, Devon Lee, who was at work when the attack happened. Hatter went on to tell me that her son has been bullied for the past 2 years at Orville T. Bright Elementary School because of the way she walks and talks. All of the results of her sickle cell disease. Hatter tried to talk to the school about the bullying, but she says they didn't do anything about it. Yesterday, a large group of parents came to the school to show their support for the mother and to put an end to bullying. The community immediately stepped in and moved her out of South Deering and into an undisclosed location. Hatter says she's pressing charges against the parents of the kids who attacked her. As for her children, they'll be transferred to a different school, and she's looking to get therapy for them. Reporting in the newsroom, Sharday Gray, CBS News, Chicago. Marie.
Sharday, thank you for that exclusive story. Only on CBS News Chicago, we are learning a group of kids who attacked a Chicago mother and her 9-year-old son have been terrorizing another family. Our Sharday Gray reports that that mob was caught on video in both instances.
Carolyn Sanford says the same group of kids who attacked Hatter and her son brutally attacked her adult son this past summer, leaving him unconscious on the ground for half an hour. She says they picked on him because her son has autism and is an easy target. In one of those incidents, a boy in the video slapped her 10-year-old daughter, Brown's younger sister, at Orville T. Bright Elementary School. The same school several parents demonstrated this past week, calling for an end to bullying.
My daughter didn't want to go to school. These kids never want to stay home. That girl wants to stay home more than anybody.
Even at home, the same group of kids broke her window and kicked in her door last May.
And the ringleaders is crazy because they stay above me. I'm do if I don't, I'm damn if I do. I mean, it ain't no winning here.
Both moms say they have brought complaints to the school, with no results. Sanford says she's upset because she warned the school about the kids for months, and she says nothing was done.
Why y'all haven't done nothing a long time ago for this? Again, this been going on. This ain't just started here, and it's not gonna end here.
She contacted us after seeing the viral video. We reached out to CPS. We are waiting for a response, and when we get one, we will post it on our website, CBS News Chicago.
And so, yeah, there you have that. This is all connected. And it doesn't make it any better when you have leadership who rather make excuses than to actually hold the very people who are committing these crimes, who are doing this, accountable. Listen, until the adults who raising the kids change the way they're parenting, until the adults who are electing their leadership change the way they're voting, then what you expect to see change? I don't expect to see anything change. But drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think. As always, best way you can show your support and that you enjoyed the content is by smashing that thumbs up. That tells me you like the video. And subscribe for more breakdowns like this. And as always, until next time.